Let's look at a persistent headache in turf management: localized dry spots, or LDS. These are isolated patches of soil that become highly water repellent, causing the grass above them to wither and die. For a golf course superintendent, watching perfect turf turn brown is agonizing. It derails carefully planned maintenance schedules and forces the entire operation into reactive damage control. The immediate response is always the same. Turf crews have to drop their daily assignments, grab hoses, and physically drench these failing spots by hand. Courses spend massive amounts of money on their operating budgets, yet maintaining moisture often devolves into this primitive cycle of manual labor. The industry standard for treating dry spots involves purchasing two distinct types of chemical wetting agents. The first is a penetrant. Its specific job is to break the surface tension and force water down through the dense top layer of the soil. The second is a retainer. This chemical is applied to grab onto that moisture and hold it within the root zone so the grass can actually use it. Buying both creates an economic trap known as the two-product shuffle. Courses pay double for chemicals that often work against each other's intended effects. You are paying twice for the same result, and often the turf crews are still out there hand-watering. That is the definition of overpaying for underperformance. To understand why mixing these chemicals fails, we need to zoom in past the turf canopy and look closely at the microscopic environment of the root zone. This diagram shows a microscopic cross-section of soil where large water droplets bounce off the surface. This represents high surface tension, which creates a structural conflict between getting water into the ground and keeping it there. When you apply traditional penetrants, the large droplets break apart and rush rapidly down through the soil profile. The water moves so fast, it leaves the upper root system completely dry. Conversely, if you rely heavily on retainers, the moisture hits the soil and clumps together at the very top. It pools unevenly and never reaches the deeper root structure. Because of this physical limitation, superintendents have to choose between penetration and retention. By trying to balance both, they end up achieving neither perfectly. The constant need to drag hoses across the course isn't an operational failure by the maintenance team. It is a structural flaw in the design of traditional wetting agents. Solving this paradox requires a change in the physical scale of the delivery system itself. Aquaritin Sparc addresses this issue through nanoscale engineering, creating particles drastically smaller than standard chemical formulas. Because of their microscopic size, these nanoparticles effortlessly break the surface tension, driving moisture deep into the dense soil profile. Once inside, those same particles space themselves evenly throughout the root zone, holding tiny halos of water in suspension exactly where the plant needs them. By operating at this scale, Sparc eliminates the physical compromise. It achieves deep penetration and uniform moisture retention at the exact same time. This dual-action capability allows it to outperform the top 6 traditional wetting agents currently on the market in independent testing. Aquaritin Sparc bypasses the root zone paradox entirely, ending the need for the two-product shuffle. This microscopic science has a direct impact on the macro reality of a golf course's operating budget. Treating the turf with Aquaritin Sparc costs exactly $18 to $36 per acre. This chart compares the massive combined cost of buying both a penetrant and a retainer against the tiny fraction required for Aquaritin Sparc. It is easily the most budget-friendly option available. The secondary and arguably more valuable economic benefit is the total recovery of manual labor. Crews no longer waste hours hand-watering dry spots. That means the turf team can be reallocated to focus on the fine details that actually elevate the course's overall quality, firmness, and playability. True efficiency means saving money on chemicals while reclaiming the time and focus of the entire workforce. Modern turf management is shifting toward a low-input, high-output philosophy. Recent 3-year study data, led by award-winning superintendent Charlie Foltz, proves this approach works. The turf survived a brutal 2025 weather year while sticking strictly to this low-input method. Surviving extreme weather conditions no longer requires throwing endless combinations of chemicals and back-breaking labor at the dirt. Optimal hydration, visual quality, and surface firmness are achievable through smarter single-product science. Stop the two-product shuffle. Refuse to overpay for underperformance. Recover your labor. Claim your first free jug of Aquaritin Sparc and modernize your approach to moisture control today.